Hey, Brian, get cracking.
Thanks. Ryan, a chance to get back to Hampden again for you. Do you feel that you owed something this season in the Cups, given your performances?
I don't think you're owed really anything in football. We know that the first time we went there against Hearts, we performed really well and didn't get the result we wanted, and then it's probably we got what we deserved in another semi-final. So listen, we want to get back there, right or wrongs this season, and tomorrow's a massive opportunity. But we know that it's going to be a tough game. We played them the last time in the league at home, and they turned us over. So we know they're a good team. We know the threats that they can pose, and we know it's going to be a tough task.
Do you use those disappointments though as a spur, as something to encourage you to, if you need any encouragement at all, to try and push your way back there?
I don't think we needed much more encouragement for the last two semi-finals, but we want to win a cup this year. We feel that we've got the players that we've got the facilities to go and do that, and we've been close to getting to that final. But getting into the semi-final now will give us a big opportunity to go and try and achieve one of our main goals this season. We're guaranteed European football on Wednesday there. Now it's about cup competition now. We want to go and win it, so tomorrow's the next step towards that.
I think when the season started, we spoke to you about how big a campaign this was for yourself. Here you are, potentially on the cusp of reaching Hampden again, potentially going to be finishing third in the league, potentially heading to the Euros in the summer. It's been quite a 12 months for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think at the start of the year, my personal goals were to play every game, to get over, hit that 30 game mark, and now I think I'm on 36, 37 games, and over the course of the season, I feel I've performed relatively consistent, and I think the boys have done really well too in helping me get there. So listen, we've put ourselves in a fantastic position, myself included. And now there's a big, last 5-6 weeks now coming into the end of the season, and we want success. We know we're very close to securing third place. We need to go and get that done. That's our main goal. But now, listen, we've got a massive opportunity to get back to Hampden. And as I said before, right or wrongs, and we want silverware, we want success, and tomorrow's just the next step towards that.
Finally, from me, can I ask you a word about Jack, your manager, and how big a part he has played in your development over the last 18 months ago since coming in? You're a young lad, but he's shown a lot of faith in you, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've not really worked with someone that has this much trust in me. He's very honest with what he wants from me from day one, start of pre-season. He's told me everything he wanted from me, and he's shown massive faith and massive trust in me. And I can't thank him enough. John Potter as well. He's worked very selflessly with me throughout the season to try and make me the best I can be and help the team as much as possible. But I've got to thank they two for a massive amount of trust that they've put in me this season.
And you talk about thanking the manager. Obviously, he has put a lot of trust in you, but there was a spell when you were out of the team, around February time. Do you think that's almost helped you, benefited you going forward? That you're not always guaranteed in the team sheet.
I think I was, taken out through set of circumstances that happened in the season. But look, a full season, you're going to need your whole squad. The manager says it might be a starting 11 that goes out onto the pitch, but now that we've got 5 subs we can use, everybody's important. And Daz came in, he done fantastic. He was looking back to his best and helped the team massively. Big win against Aberdeen, big wins against Dundee United. Listen, I was obviously taken out, and it gave me a chance to let my body recover and kind of look from the outside in, and yeah, it benefited me, and it kind of made me more hungry to get back in the team and help the boys.
Just going back to the last time Motherwell played at East Road, obviously they were victorious. What do you think went wrong on that day, and how do you make sure it doesn't happen tomorrow?
I think they were just better than us on the day. I think we went into that game in good form. I think we'd won the last 4 before that, and it was just wasn't our day. We've probably done stuff defensively that you wouldn't normally expect from us, and we didn't take our chances in front of goal. They were deservedly the better team, and they walked away with 3 points. We didn't deserve anything from the game. So listen, we know that if we play well and work harder than them, we'll win the game. We feel confident in our ability against any team that we play now. But we need to match their work rate, and we need to perform to the highest standards. A cup game, and they've not got much to play for in the season now, other than the Scottish Cup. So this is probably going to be all or nothing for them, and we know that they're going to be coming here wanting to win.
Ryan, Ron Gordon spoke recently about the possibility of selling 1 or 2 of the Hibs prized assets. How much of a draw will European football be for you if that decision on your Hibs future is to be made?
I'm not looking at that far ahead. I think we're guaranteed European football, but right now we don't know what stage we're going to get put in. We need to secure 3rd and then progress in the cup. Whether it's we'll need us or Rangers to win the cup, but of course we want it to be us. But we need to put ourselves in that position, and I think that discussion will be had when European football's confirmed.
So from those young days being a big HIBEES supporter, European football, was that your dream? Is that where you want to go, obviously?
Yeah, winning a couple of Hibs was my ultimate dream. Growing up, and now we've put ourselves in another position where we can try and get to a closer stage in that. So that's where my head's at just now. And I've played in Europe with Hibs before, and it was a great experience. And it's European football, something that you definitely want to be playing as a young player.
Good luck.
Brian touched on the Euros earlier there. For guys like yourself, Kevin Nisbet and Paul Hanlon and Paul McGinn who've been around the squad, do you feel like going to Hampden, getting a big win at Hampden, a big statement win and going to a final could be the sort of thing that gets you noticed when it comes to the squad being announced?
Yeah, it's obviously going to help. I think probably consistency over the whole season, is probably something that the manager's going to look at. But listen, I think I'm just going to concentrate on myself, try and maintain a high level of consistency and performance levels, and we'll see where that takes me. I know it's bad to say, but you'll probably be looking at maybe 1-2 injuries before I could maybe be in there. So listen, I've got to concentrate on myself and just maintain that high level of consistency, as I said.
It's going to be the sort of thing that's in the back of your mind, though, that injuries are going to happen, and the guys who are vying for those spots, they're going to want to do something that does make them stand out.
Yeah, I think you're only human. That I think you'd be lying to say if it wasn't in the back of your mind. Every player will want to be going. It's a massive achievement for Scotland, and to be a part of that group, would be amazing. But when I know that there's quality players playing at a very high level that are in front of me just now. So as I said, I just need to maintain that high level of performance, and and hope that my name gets thrown in the ring.
Cheers.
Ryan, your front players are on real good goal scoring form. Obviously, the 2 centre forwards and Martin Boyle. Is that confidence kind of filter back? If you do your job at the back, then these guys are weighing the goals every game these days.
Yeah, I think they've done fantastic all season. I think the manager touched on it last week that some of the team should be maybe chipping in with more goals, but when you've got a threat like Boyle down the line and then they 2 up front that are relentless in front of goal, it's hard for anybody else to chip in the goals. But no, they've done fantastic, and long may it continue, because they're only doing themselves favours. For international recognition and stuff like that, they're doing fantastic, and as I said, hopefully it continues tomorrow and they can see us through.
Okay. Right, cheers, Ryan.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. Good luck.
Yes.
Jack, there's been no fans inside stadiums this year. I was looking through some of the Hibs fans forums this morning. I found this quote from one. It said, "How good is it to be a Hibs supporter just now? A Scottish Cup quarter-final on Saturday, followed by a game where we can clinch 3rd place with 2 games remaining. this team is capable of great things. That's what the fans think. Do you think they're capable of great things?
I think they've made big strides this season. I think they've continued to push the bar, if you like, and to raise the bar, if you like, of what they want to try and achieve. But they work very hard to do it. And I think if we finishing in the top four already, I think in itself is a big achievement for us as a group. But we've had this ambition to achieve more success for the club, and we've put ourselves in a position to do it. It might not happen, but equally we've got a group, I think, that is determined to try and make it happen. So it's been a good season for us in that respect, and hopefully what it's doing is laying the foundations for a period of sustained success like this. I think the challenge is to try and, first of all, bring that increased success this season, and then make that the norm for the club as well.
When you're building a squad together, clubs like Hibernian and Aberdeen, and pushing towards the top of the table, what normally happens is, though, your good players perform well, then somebody comes and buys them, and you've got to start rebuilding again. Is there a ceiling, do you think, for clubs outside the Celtic and Rangers that they can occasionally push through, but mainly it's a cup competition really, that they're going to be based on whether it's going to be a success or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's an element that's the nature of the beast in all walks of life and in all sports, that the most powerful or richest or biggest clubs will always be in the best position to take the best players. So I think we have to be realistic about that, and try and keep our good players and our best players as long as we possibly can, but have the foresight to acknowledge that we may lose them at some point, but can we continue to produce others, whether that's within our own system or whether it's through the recruitment and then the identification of those that will make you a better team, whether they're established players or whether they're ones that have potential. So I think it does, is the point you're making, I think it does make it incredibly difficult to break into that high part of the league again in Scotland. I think that's been seen. I think people have spoken about it regularly upon Derek leaving Aberdeen, that the challenge he faced in that period, he losing his best players along the way. And I think we know that the summer may prove challenging for us in that regard as well. But it's just the nature of the job at a club of different sizes, of different challenges. We've got a lot of brilliant things about this club, but we're also acutely aware, and history shows that it can be difficult to hold on to your top players for a sustained period of time.
I suppose as a manager, you've always got to try and be just that one step ahead, trying to look into the crystal ball and see what's going to happen in the summer, and ensure that you're not caught short in that sense, and that you've got backups there or ready replacements ready to come in who can take over. Yeah, I mean, I genuinely just view my job as being a problem solver on a daily basis, and they're not all problems are negatives. They're enjoyable problems to solve, and one of them is how you piece together a team and piece together a squad, and the ability to try and do that season upon season is the even bigger challenge than doing it on a week-to-week basis. So whatever that unfolds over the coming months, we'll deal with, and we've been fairly sensible about trying to be as proactive as we can be to prepare for the different eventualities that may come our way. So I think it helps, obviously, having clarity of thought in that respect, and not being closed-minded about the possibility of things that may occur, because some of those, to an extent, may be out of our control. Your next problem to solve is Motherwell tomorrow night, and they certainly gave you problems when they were here back in, I think it was February, end of February. Yeah, I think that Graham would probably feel as if his team played well that afternoon. Interestingly enough, I didn't think for parts of the game we were too bad. I think that we responded well to going behind, but we gave ourselves a big task in terms of falling by 2 goals behind to them. Our form, I think, since that game or in recent weeks, certainly we feel as it's been good. I think it will be a different game. It's a one-off in terms of it being a cup quarter final. I think for Graham's team having secured for definite their position in the Premiership with the result during the week means that this is very much their focus for the rest of the season, where we obviously have these 2 fronts we're still fighting on. But I think for both teams, huge prize at stake. A team full of good players,
and I think proven good Premiership players. So difficult match for us. I think it's all the quarter-final ties are, but I think for us we definitely feel as if we're going into it in good form as a team, and also in good form individually as well.
Josh Doig fit?
Should be. Yeah, he trained this morning, so we're hoping that unless he has any reaction over the remainder of the day and tomorrow morning, then he should be okay to be involved in the squad.
Thanks, Jack. Good luck.
Jack, going back to Motherwell, how do you think they've changed since Graham Alexander took over around Christmas time?
Obviously, I don't get to see them every single week. Actually, my focus only comes upon them when we're in the lead up to playing them. But I think there has been adaptations, and even from when Graham took over, I think they've adapted their style slightly, or a little bit, from his initial period in charge. And then even midweek, they changed the system and played the back three. So I think that happens much more often in the game. We've done it a lot this season as well. There's much more fluidity between systems that teams employ. So we've prepared as well as we can, as consistently as we can. But irrespective of what system Graham chooses to employ, as I said earlier, a difficult quarter-final for us.
We just spoke to Ryan, and he said that Saturday is almost about righting the wrongs of the season so far in terms of cup competitions. Is that the message you'll give to the players?
No, not necessarily, because you can't affect anything that's already gone. We can only affect what lies ahead. So the motivation for us is to win the Scottish Cup. It's not doing that to put right going out the league or the Scottish Cup in the semi-final stage. We did very well to reach those stages of the competition, but for us, the motivation is about winning this competition. So the only thing we can affect is a progress in this tournament. We believe that we're a team capable of winning it, but we've got to go and prove that in each round and each challenge we face. We've done it the 2 rounds to date, and we need to go and produce the type of performance on Saturday evening that will give us the best possible chance at beating another Premiership team.
Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
Jack, following the collapse of the European Super League, there has been talk of the British Super League involving Celtic and Rangers. How damaging to Scottish football would losing the member clubs be?
I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I know very little about it, simply because we have the game Wednesday evening, I've got a game tomorrow evening, and all my time between then has been spent preparing for that match. And I've seen a couple of headlines, but the only thing I would say is, from back in my playing days, I've heard this idea floated on multiple occasions. Football will survive one way or another. So, as I said, for me, regardless of having the game tomorrow, my focus is only on Hibs, and then particularly when we've got these 2 big games, I haven't really given any thought to anything involving those 2 clubs moving to another league.
There's potential to put Hibs on top, obviously. That would be nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots and maybes until we got to that point.
Cool. Good luck. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you. Thank you.
Jack, obviously with Europe now confirmed, you spoke about this season sort of going with a smaller squad. Would you potentially, with more games, be looking for an extra couple of bodies in terms of squad size next season?
Not necessarily in terms of the number that we had in total this season. We've been a little bit skinnier recently because a couple of others went out on loan. Left us a little bit shorter numbers. We only had 7 subs listed in midweek. But I would, my message to the club, or the plan of the club, is we're trying to strengthen the group below the first team appropriately in terms of their age range and their ability, to ensure that we have that support from below that can augment the first team squad. So it's not really changed my approach in terms of putting together the first team. I do think, though, across the whole club, we need to be in a stronger position to ensure that we have that security, if you like, and also potential for younger players coming through. Other than that, I wouldn't like to bloat the squad out too much.
Yeah, you mentioned some of the younger players that are kind of underneath at the moment. Obviously, like say, reports and stuff about Laidlaw and trials with Manchester United and Murray and stuff. Are you kind of hopeful you've got these, talented youngsters still around next season?
Yeah, I think that like Ethan Laidlaw and Murray Johnson, they are still very much academy players. Murray's obviously trained with us all season, but still very young. Ethan Laidlaw, we've just had the opportunity to come in and be the first team in the last couple of weeks. But they, as of yet, never really had that taste of the first team environment for real. So they're now, they had been of interest to other clubs from an academy development point of view. I think naturally, if there are those in your system that are attracted and interested in other clubs and people believe to be good players, then obviously I would rather keep them and see them progress, like Josh Doig has done. Helps us first team level, helps us move forward as a club. So again, a bit like I said earlier on, there's an element of it being the nature of the beast in terms of people coming and being able to take away your best players. But for us as a club, hopefully we can be shown that there's a pathway, which I think is important to encourage young players to stay for Hibs as long as possible.
Brilliant. Cheers, Jack. Best luck
Thank
tomorrow.
You. Thank you.
Jack, can I just ask about Chris Cadden and any other team news you might have?
So Chris remains doubtful. We'll give him up to the last minute, but as I said, still a doubt at the moment. Josh Doig has trained this morning. Other than that, Jamie Murphy and Sean Mackey remain out. And yeah, that's us. I think everybody else is fit and healthy.
Cheers.
Thank you.